Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Two Brothers channel. I'm one brother.
Hello, everybody. And I'm the second brother. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Two Brothers channel. We have a new one for you tonight, a very, very good one. I'm rubbing my fingers together, my hands together, and I can't wait. I cannot wait. Over to you, Mr. Phil.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this one, the episode, we're going to title this one, Fear Not.
Wow.
Fear Not. F-E-A-R not. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of those ones that, boy, you guys are privileged that we're actually dealing with this one. Because I carried so much fear in me for over, maybe even 40 years, Mr. Clay. Maybe 45 years, Mr. Clay. Life riddled with fear. Now, before you look at me as Mr. Weak, Mr. Soft, Mr. Anything scares him, let me tell you my credentials. Growing up in Nigeria. If there's anything that will teach you about fear, it's growing up in Nigeria. Because, boy, it just seemed like since I was a kid, obviously I'm big now. I am physically over 6 foot. I'm big, but I was not born 6 foot, obviously. I was not born as imposing. There was a time I was a scrawny little thing. And everybody, it seemed, took it as an advantage to whack my head. I don't know whether it was something about me. I don't know whether it was something about how I was behaving, but everybody just had to take a shot at taking me down. Anyway, let's do something short. Growing up in Nigeria, not only will your parents beat you, aunties can beat you, uncles can beat you, the guy on the street beat you. After a while, a child starts developing fear. Because fear is now linked to pain in that child's mind, especially when that child is completely powerless in, even the worst one is even your peers are beating you. That's what the worst. I can understand older people beating you, but when I was in secondary school, I was usually the youngest in my class. For whatever reason, maybe I was considered bright, so they put me in school early. So I was usually the youngest, and because I was youngest, I was always the smallest as well. And so, not only are teachers beating you, not only are guys on the street beating you, even your classmates are beating you. And you're looking at that, I'm in your class, but yeah, you may be older than me by 1 year, but we're mates and we poop. We're mates, aren't we? We're mates, aren't we? Uppercut. So anyway, I'm laughing now because that is how a child learns to link fear with pain. And then you go into the world. Mr. Clay, let me let you chip in. How was fear introduced to you?
Similarly, but I didn't get as much beating up as you were, clearly. That's why you had to arrange my beating up for me later. So I didn't miss out on the beating up.
You might as well tell them that story.
That's for another day.
That's for another day. Okay. I arranged your beating up.
It's a lot of it starts with societal fears, where all the adults are scared, and in Nigeria, the adults has a lot to be scared of. So if the adults are scared, what are you as a child? You're just scared by default. I remember one day when my dad shouted armed robber in his bedroom. Because in Nigeria growing up, there used to be a lot of robberies. And the adults were scared of armed robbers. So children were double scared of armed robbers. And one day my dad shouted, "Ole!" from his bedroom, and we all froze.
I remember we were watching a film in the other sitting room, and when we heard that, we all ran into each other first.
Yeah.
This one got up running this way. This one got up running this way. We bumped into each other. Confusion.
It was like, okay, it's happened. They're in the house already, And this is a house that has, burglar proof, as they call it, on the windows, burglary proof. So he shouted that, and everybody was scared out of their wits. That okay, they've gotten that. That is down,
That is down. Oh Lord have mercy.
So those are fears just in the house. Not to talk about the fears you meet when you go out to school and you're kidnapping children, all sorts of, because we're quite what do you call it? We're quite mystical in Africa. So there's always this
superstitious
things that can get you.
Mm.
So if you see money on the ground, don't pick it up because it will turn you into a chicken. Just things like that. So before that is a trap. Don't pick it up. Back to you, Mr. Phil.
Thank you, Mr. Kaleye. You see, all those things, like you said, I think it must have been something about me. I don't know what I was used to do then, but you didn't get enough licks like I did. But I was always, but back to the story of Dad and the screaming thieves. After we finished running into each other and, falling on the floor and getting up again, I finally plucked the courage to go and check Dad in his room. Opened the door gently, quietly, looked in, and I saw that he's sitting on his bed, and I'm like, only that. And as I said only that, I walked into the room, yeah, and the thing happened again. And he said, only. Ladies and gentlemen, it turned out it was a banana leaf
branch.
A banana leaf branch because I was the one that looked at it carefully. I'm like, this didn't move like a human being. Oh Lord have mercy. But then we found out that
the fear was real.
My dad was not impressed.
The fear was real.
But the fear was real. We did exactly what we would have done if it was a real.
It was a real. It's a good rehearsal.
And we did terribly. All we did was run into each other and fall on the floor. That's all we did.
That was the drill.
That's all we did. It wasn't like we went to get any cutlass or anything to defend us. Sorry, I'm laughing because it is so hilarious what fear can do to you. That is the case where fear is not useful. That's the case where fear is useless. Because all it does is paralyzes you and it disarms you. Nothing positive comes out of paralysis. Nothing positive comes out of you being disarmed. Okay. So that was that. Honestly, like Mr. Claire said, Nigeria being a superstitious society and Africa being similar, we really know about fear. But unfortunately, it goes unchecked. Then to make things worse, you now start getting stories about this God in the sky. This God is a jealous God. And it's going to hurt you. So not only are you not dealing with people that are going to slap you on earth, now you now have a heavenly slapper.
That is everywhere. At any time.
some people will be like, God slap Mr. Phil's mouth.
It's omniscient.
We've done that.
Omnipresent.
Sorry, what did you say?
It's omniscient, it's omnipresent. You can't run away.
When you know about God, man, you just realize that, wow. Anyway, so you're now introduced to this God that is so jealous in the sky. And when you've seen, my goodness, this God is stoking a hell just for you. For all eternity. So now you got bits from your peers, bits from people that are older, bits from everybody that can beat you. Now you got potential beats from a cosmic heavenly bully. Because what other reference do you have than what you've experienced? Now they've extended it to even cosmic level. Anyway, then they'll tell you, and then that introduces you to what I call morbid fear. So you're now afraid of God because of reference. Check why you fear God. A lot of you fear God, but you don't really know why you fear God. And you've not really checked why you fear God. A lot of you, all you have is morbid fear. Morbid fear is fear of someone because they were going to harm you, because they're going to kill you. You don't have reverential fear. Reverential fear comes out of awe, out of respect, out of love. A lot of you have just morbid fear, and that is what a lot of people are introduced to under the quote Christianity. Because you see, with morbid fear, you can be controlled. With reverential fear, you question. So they don't want you to have reverential fear. They want you to have morbid fear. Fear that God that will throw you in the hellfire. So guess what? All of you are going to church just to get fire insurance. That's it. The motivation.
Yep.
Jesus died for you so that you would get fire insurance. Mr. Clay, over to you.
Wow. That's why the relationship with God, was always built out of fear. It wasn't built out of friendship or love. And the first time, I remember when I used to go to church when I was little, it was always fire and brimstone preaching. It wasn't even prosperity preaching at that time.
No, not at all.
Some people, all they listen to a church is prosperity.
They've not even heard fire and brimstone preaching. Wow.
Yeah, brimstone.
Yes. Well, you missed nothing. We are laughing. This is a personal development channel, and you cannot be personally developed without going through this journey. Mr. Claire, continue, please.
So when you've been dealt with the fire and brimstone preaching every Sunday, he saw you. You didn't think it is. He saw you. He's coming for you. Come and repent. And you'll be repenting every Sunday.
He's coming for you, and from your perspective, shush, I stole meat from the pot.
Forgive me, God. You're going to hell. You are going to hell.
I was mean to Mr. Kelly last week. I was mean to him, and I hit my younger one, and I. Mr. Clay, carry on, please.
You'll be scared stiff.
Oh.
You know. So when it comes to your relationship with God, you're not seeing him as someone you love or somebody that you're meant to have a relationship with. You can't wait to get away from him, you know.
Thank you. You can't wait to get away from him. And this is where the dysfunction comes in. Because on one hand, he's meant to love you. On one hand, he's meant to die for you, to have died for you. On one hand, you're meant to be the apple of his eye. And the other hand, he's gonna get you. He's preparing a place of demons and hell and fire forever for you. And then you now have a schizophrenic relationship where you're like, God, I love you, but stay the heck away. God, I love you, but leave me alone. Mr. Clay, over to you.
You get the chances when you read the Bible, when the angels appear to Joseph, to Mary.
Thank you.
Everybody, the angels appears. The first thing the angel says, fear not.
Fear not. Fear not. Mr. Clay got there before me. The first thing they ever say whenever there is a supernatural encounter with man, the first word from their mouth is, fear not.
because the guy is already.
Because the moment the guy shows beside you like this, you're running into the wall. You're running into the wall. You're knocking yourself out.
People deliver his message. People can deliver his message.
Honestly,
you're fainted already.
Leia, you know how it goes. This is it.
If I can deliver his message.
Imagine, so the guys will be like,
disappeared up the scene.
Hang on, fair enough. Just okay, you're drinking at the moment. Yeah, so isn't it interesting that when you actually now investigate for yourself and you actually get the book and you look at the character of Jesus, then you find out that, hang on, if this is meant to be the physical representation of God, he had more mercy on the tax collector, the prostitute, the people that were the underclass, the people that you would say are sinners. He had more compassion and more generosity and more love, and interacted with them with such embracive,
peaceful
and accepting, peaceful expression than anything else. When they wanted to stone the woman caught in adultery, what did he say? Okay, which one of you has no sin? That doesn't sound like that. Yeah, let's deal with that. Because some people will be like, okay, so Mr. Phil. Some people like the devil's advocates.
They will have devil advocates amongst us. We see you.
We see you.
You're welcome.
We know you. We know what you're thinking. Mr. Phil, are you now saying that hell doesn't exist? Is that what you're saying? Guess what, Mr. Devil's Advocate? Listen very carefully. I am saying hell doesn't exist.
Wow.
But you can experience hell.
Wow.
What did I say? Hell doesn't exist. But you can experience hell. How does that work? Very simple. It means that there's not a place created there is hell. However, we human beings are so powerfully created that we can create our own hell that we will experience with our own imagination and our own psyche and place ourselves there. This might be a bit too deep, but yeah, let's start with that.
Very powerful.
Hell doesn't exist, but you can experience it. So if you experience this, it's as good as it exists for you. So whether hell exists or doesn't exist, really at the final analysis is not what is important. Are you going to experience it or not? Because if you don't experience it, then it doesn't matter. And if you experience it, then it matters. So that is why it's very important to understand your relationship with fear, because we are capable of constructing hellish experiences for ourselves for no reason. We've just given an example. All we heard was, "Ole!" And our imagination took the rest. Our imagination was like they were in the room, like Mr. Clare said, that was down. You know what I'm saying? And everything. We created all that. But so okay, don't let me you get my gist. Mr. Clare, over to you.
It is very important when we say fear not. We're bringing the same message that the angels bring. Fear not. Check it out. Check out your Bibles. If you, I know some of you call yourself Christians and you've never read your own Bible. So go and read the Bible, where every encounter that the angels will come and meet the humans, and the first thing is fear not. Now, fear, I'm gonna steal another one from Mr. Phil before he says it, stands for false evidence appearing real. Let me say that again. Fear stands for false evidence appearing real. So it's not real. Whatever fear, whatever thing you're scared of is something that you have learned to be scared of. Because you were born with two fears. Scientifically proven. Check it. You heard it from Mr. Leye first. You were born with two fears. The fear of loud noise as a baby, the fear of loud noise, and the fear of falling. And by the age of 2 or 3, you've overcome those two fears. So everything else now is something that you have learned. So it's false evidence appearing real. Mr. Phil, back to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now, the good news is that now that we've established that, we learned a lot of our fears. And the mistake that could be made is that maybe fear is bad. That's not what we're saying. You see, one of the things that comes to my mind again is that when you don't know the use of something, abnormal use is inevitable. So that means that abuse. So what we've done is we've abused fear. And I've actually even only literally lately, and that's why we keep saying read. Because I've been reading for over 30 years. And I only actually got this information, I think, 3 weeks ago from reading. I can now articulate it. So are we saying that fear is bad? No. Fear is very useful, but can be useless if you don't use it right. What I learned very recently to be able to articulate it presently is that, see, if I have a physical pain in my body is telling me there's something wrong, take note. That's why you're feeling, it's telling you, oh, you've thumbed your toe. If you do not have pain in your body, you will go out, come back, and you'll be looking, where's my feet? You will have left your feet down, you know. You'll be dropping body parts everywhere because you shut the door on your hand and you didn't feel pain and you walked away with your hand. You get what I'm saying? So pain to the body is very useful because it keeps you intact. Now, fear is the equivalent to your psyche. Fear is your psyche's way of pointing out there is an issue here. Now, it's not saying to be afraid of that issue. It's telling you this issue, be cautious about it. Be careful, but don't be fearful. So when fear comes into me now, I realize that is my psyche, just like my body pain is telling me there's something wrong. My psyche's way of telling me, Mr. Phil, danger, be cautious, be careful. And then I can act. Because if my psyche does not tell me that, then things will happen and I will not be careful. And before you know it, how many times have things happened that you basically out of your psyche just warning you and you save yourself just out of intuition. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's what fear is there for. And until now, I understood that, before, Mr. Clay, honestly, when I used to feel fear, because from childhood, I hated it, Mr. Clay, I hated it. So whenever I feel fear, I didn't like it. But now I love it, because now I realize, that's what it's for. Okay, now, I can use that. What do you think, Mr. Clay?
Wow, that is powerful. That is powerful, because that's not where I thought we were going to go. I thought we were going to get rid of fear. So it's powerful that you're actually saying you're using it to your advantage now.
It's very useful. Sorry, Mr. Clay, sorry, I caught you.
No, because you have a better understanding of what fear does or what it's there for. You can now use it to your advantage. Very
simple as. Fear is not bad. Fear is useful. Just as pain is not bad. Pain is useful. Understand. That's why I said, look, what we're giving people on this Two Brothers channel, is priceless information.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Real life information. Not just information that you read and you can't use, that you can use right now. And if you think you can't use it, drop us a comment. Whatever is not clear, we're not going away. We will break it down. Break it down for you. Because our motive is to empower you. Our motive is to give you tools that you can use. You know why? And I believe that's why I actually went through the journey of my life the way it is. Because will I really be able to teach about fear like this if I've not been dealing with fear that much? If I've not gone through it to be able to relate? Yeah, sometimes I think, did I have to have such a hard journey? Mr. Lay didn't get as many licks as I got. But hey, I needed to go through that to be able to relate and be able to deliver and be able to understand and be interested enough. Be tormented enough to be interested enough to say, you know what? Let's crack this. And you see, so many times in my life, I've been very courageous because you see, I've told you that I've been fearful. All my life I've been fearful. But guess what though? While being afraid, I am moved. While being afraid, I have not stopped. While being afraid, I have acted. And that's all courage is. Courage is acting while you're afraid. Courage is moving while you're afraid. Yeah. Courage is getting things done when you don't know all the answers and you're still scared. That's been the story of my life. I've been courageous by default.
And what comes with that courage is growth.
Mm.
What comes with that courage is building muscles and growth, because you're stepping out of your comfort zone into situations that are fearful, but you're still soldiering on. Now you're gaining growth. You're getting powerful. You're getting stronger. So it's that's what you call a win-win, Mr. Phil.
Of course. Carry on, sir.
Because other people will see you doing things, and just like the story of David, you know, when as the Bible said, he slew Goliath with his catapult and 3 stones. But the reason why David was not afraid of Goliath was David has been doing that with lions, bear, call it, he's been killing them. So Goliath is just another one of these.
another one of these fearful things
You
to be
know,
slain.
and he said, you know, in the name of his God, you know, he wasn't even, you know, so he had a bigger purpose, you know, to slay the Goliath, you know. So the reason why I use that story analogy is to let you know that what you do privately, I should kill those small fears, the little fears that are around you, you know. Because I was talking to my mom about 3 weeks ago, 83 years old woman, 83 years old, and she was still fearful. Fearful about this, fearful about that. Yeah, what is it about this? And I said, when are you going to stop being afraid? I didn't even know when it came out of me. I just asked her, when are you going to stop being afraid? And it's like, it's one of those questions that they look at you like, huh?
Are you supposed to stop being afraid? Yes.
It's like me asking, like, when are you going to stop breathing? You know? That's the kind of...
Yeah.
Over to you, Mr. Phil.
And that is where the abnormal use comes from. And that is why we say read, because that's where you get information. We're not just saying read because we're fanatics and we just like to inflict the pain of reading on you. No, it's where information comes from. And obviously, even our own mother hasn't the information to actually know that she has been abusing fear. And because she's been abusing fear, fear has been abusing her entire life.
Mm.
And unfortunately, because she's been abused, she's hurt. And hurt people hurt people. I'll leave that there. So it's an abusive relationship with fear. But like I told you, just because I read, I finally got the answer a few weeks ago from reading. Innocently, I wasn't even looking for it, but I'm always looking for information. And then he told me, fear is to your psyche what pain is to your body. I'm like, that is powerful and useful now. Because, like Mr. Clare said, you think the good thing is to get rid of fear totally.
Mm.
No, there's a reason why the universe, in its wisdom, gave you the ability. There's a real amazing reason. So why would you get? It's almost like when they said that they tried to get rid of bees, Mr. Clay, and getting rid of bees, they finally found out that, my goodness, if you get rid of bees, all life on Earth will stop. will end. Just getting rid of bees, those annoying things. They are so useful to life on Earth that if you get rid of bees, we will all die. So the universe in its wisdom has given us fear. So that's the good news. The good news is that from today on, because you're privileged to be watching this video, you now know that fear is just to point you. It's almost like you got like what do they call those things, Mr. Clay, where you look at the dials and the dashboard. Thank you. It's almost like you have a dashboard for your psyche, telling you what is working right, what is not working right. And when fear comes, it is now incumbent on you to say, okay, what is this fear? And usually, one thing that the book said is that our fear usually is hooked onto two things. Fear of losing something. Fear of losing something. And what's the second one? Fear of losing something. And I think the other one is fear of what other people think or what. Yeah. Fear of losing something is definitely one of them. Maybe by the time we finish this thing, it will come back to me. But there are two major hooks, because what are you afraid of losing in that circumstance? Usually when you deal with that, that fear goes. And I think, again, maybe fear, maybe I think I'm not sure, but if I get it, if I remember it, you see, I have to go and read it again, because like I always told you guys, information is not yours until you listen to it over again, and it goes from your head to your heart. And the time that it will go from your head to your heart, you don't know. Some of you will think, oh, I'll read it 2 times. No. You may read it 200 times and it still doesn't go from your head to your heart. Then you read it 201 time and ping! So it's a lifestyle. So I'm going to go and, what did I miss there? But definitely one is that you are afraid of losing something. Because if you're not afraid of losing something, then what is there to fear? So whenever this fear comes, say maybe on the job, the government, the whatever, the first thing I'm like, why are you afraid of losing, Mr. Phil? Deal with that. What's the second one? Anyway, Mr. Clay, what are your thoughts so that maybe the second one will come?
The first one is powerful enough. The fear of losing something, because that sums up a lot of the fears. Why are you afraid of a lot of things? It's because you want nothing to change. You don't want to lose what you have been able to gather, in your life. You don't want to lose your parents. There's so many things that you're just fearful of losing because it's out of your control, out of your power. So, yeah, that one is very powerful. The one that came to mind was the fear of the unknown. But
okay.
But maybe okay. That's not. But
you know what? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes, we just have to bring it back whenever we can.
We'll put in the description of this video.
Maybe, yeah. It's true. Because I know there's another one. I know there's fear and there's.
We'll check out the description.
Yeah, I'll put that in the description. Okay, so that's the good news.
We have given him a homework to do.
So, what's the conclusion? Use fear. Do not let fear use you. That's the conclusion.
Use fear to empower yourself, not to paralyze yourself.
Definitely. Because again, you see, fear, people can use, if you have fear in you, then people can use that fear against you. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of metaphysical things that cannot work unless you're afraid. So they have to have deposited some fear on you to be able to connect with for those metaphysical juju to work on you. Governments, unfortunately, rely on fear. Because if they can make you afraid, they can then control you, they can direct you then. That's why I say use fear, do not let fear use you. Because once you know how to use fear and you understand it, you now can see things clearly. Give an example of in the olden days when armies are arrayed. There are countless of stories that say that when they see the armies that they're going to fight at a distance, that is where the fear is the highest. Because the fear of the unknown. Mr. Kinley, yeah, you're right. That's the second one. Fear of change, but it wasn't put as fear of change. It is okay. So, those are the two things. The first one is, what are you looking to lose? And the second one is, you want to control everything that is happening. You're not letting, you want to control everything that is happening. So you're not letting everything just happen as it is transpiring. So fear of letting go is the other one. So when I'm afraid, I'm saying, okay, what am I afraid of? What am I afraid of losing? And what am I afraid of that I want to control so much that I'm not allowing it to just happen the way it wants to happen. So there's a philosophy that says, choose what shows up. You find out that a lot of struggles in life is we don't want things to happen this way. We don't want things to happen that way. And unfortunately for us human beings, there are too many variables outside ourselves that we cannot control. And that is the root of unhappiness for so many people as well. The root of unhappiness is trying to control everybody and everyone outside. Meanwhile, the key to happiness is controlling the only person you can't control, which is you on the inside. So what happens? When you are the person that looks at whatever is happening on the outside and you accept it for what it is, and you choose it for what it is. What does that mean? Even to the level of saying that I wanted Coke. And this, I've suffered from this as well, Mr. Clay. I've suffered this because I'm a very, very fussy person. I want Coke, but I got Pepsi. Before my goodness, I'm so fussy. I will be so upset. What I wanted was Coke, but I got Pepsi. I wanted room temperature cold Coke, but I got lukewarm Pepsi. What? And that is enough to get me upset for nearly a month because I think just because my ice cold Coke came as lukewarm Pepsi. And what the journey has taught me now is, and I've not mastered it yet, I'm still in training, is when the Pepsi comes, I'll be like, so this is what shows up. Okay, interesting. All right, this is an experience. Let me experience lukewarm Pepsi. Forget about the Coke. Choose what shows up. And you find out that once you let go of controlling everything outside you, from the inside, everything outside you starts lining up to work in your favor.
Beautiful.
Because you now find out that, okay, from the lukewarm Coke or Pepsi, something might happen that will create an experience that you will see something that you've missed before, or you have not, because you did not shut yourself off. So a lot of the issues that we have with fear is rooted in us trying to control our outside world. And guess what? You have little or no control. That's where you have no control. But where you have full control is your inside world. And the amazing thing about that inside world is that once you control that inside world, the outside world gets controlled, Mr. Kalei.
Wow. Mr. Phil, we're talking about frequency and
Yeah.
vibration.
Yes.
You know? And I'll just say, you know, that's so powerful. You guys are getting, you know, the frequency. You're not letting the Pepsi change your frequency or your vibration. The inner peace is still there. You're taking it on a journey. You're taking it in your stride, and you're forever winning. You're forever winning.
That sounds like a topic, forever winning.
So on that note, that is the Phil. Over to you.
That sounds like a topic. Let me write it down. Forever winning. Woo! Forever winning. So, ladies and gentlemen, I bet even the devil's advocate cannot say they've heard it anywhere else. You've not heard this anywhere else before, where fear has been broken down in such honest and clear terms to empower you. Where did you hear it first? On the Two Brothers channel. Not so that we can boast, no, but so that you know where you find it, and know that you know where you are empowered, and so that you can see that our motive is for real, to empower you. On that note, this is us signing off and saying, fear, let's say it together, Mr. Clay. Fear not. See you next week.
See you. Bye.